Making news out of Campaign Central this morning, Donald Trump picking up or regaining his momentum with a speech about terrorism. He is even calling for what he says is the extreme vetting of immigrants.
The Clinton campaign is calling his policy proposals dangerous as they keep up the pressure about Trump's tax returns. Joining us now for this breakdown of all of this is Week News political contributor Dr. Bart Rossi. Thank you so much for being here,
Nice
Dr. Rossi. Tell us a little bit about what you think regarding Trump and his latest statements and basically the talk about the Islamic extremism.
Well, actually, I like that he talked about ideology. I've been talking about this a long time. You can't win the war against ISIS with bombs and more military equipment. And you also need a coalition of nations. And I think he said that quite nicely, actually. What I find, though, on the other side of this, though, is that it's rather simplistic. It's exactly what President Obama has been saying. He doesn't want us fighting a war by ourselves. He says we need a coalition, and now the coalition seems to be doing quite well on the ground, destroying ISIS. So what did he really present in this speech? I think he's on track. I think it's a good move in the right direction. I have problems with the psychological testing of all of the folks coming into the country. I don't know exactly how you would do that.
We can listen to a little bit of what he had to say in his speech about foreign policy. So here's Donald Trump right now from his speech about how he would tackle ISIS.
That is why one of my first acts as president will be to establish a commission on radical Islam to identify the warning signs of radicalization and to expose the networks in our society that support radicalization.
At least now we're talking about issues again.
We are talking about issues, and again, I do like the ideology and talking about, what are the warning signs. That's all good. I just have an issue with when it comes to testing 181 million people who came into the country in 2014. How would you implement that, and how would you devise a test? As a psychologist, it's hard to develop a test that will predict violent behavior later and have it reliable, and all the false positives that you're going to get, people who, don't look too good. And then what do you do with them? You don't allow them into the country. So that's another problem. I think it has to be thought through a lot more clearly.
The Clinton campaign calling this idea dangerous. They're also putting pressure on Trump regarding his tax returns. Still a major issue that he has not released them.
Well, this is a big deal from my standpoint, the psychology of this. And keeping it within the Republican Party. How is it fair that Donald Trump points fingers at all the other Republican candidates, Little Marco and Lion Ted and lazy, Jeb Bush or whatever. He's pointing the fingers, but they're willing to release their tax returns. All their numbers were going to be released and in the public domain. But Donald Trump, no. He doesn't want to release his numbers so people could really judge him. And tax returns reveal a lot about a person. For all of us, we need to release tax returns for whatever it is, buying a home or whatever, but he doesn't want to do it. I think it's a really big problem, a huge problem for him going forward.
In fact, the vice presidential running mate of Hillary Clinton has been hitting that on the campaign trail, and you probably would expect that then they would continue to sort of beat that drum and use it against him.
Right, and what is he hiding? And Romney says he's hiding something big, that if it came out that his quest for the presidency would be in question. I kind of sympathize with that, because what are you hiding? Even if he paid no tax, he could brag about the fact that he's a great business guy. He could brag about a lot. But there's something in the tax return that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't look good, and it's not fair. It's not fair to all the candidates, Republicans as well as the Clinton campaign.
All right, Dr. Bart Rossi, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate it.